Reforms are irreversible. Opportunities are unlimited.
Tadbirkorlar uchun imkoniyatlarni har tomonlama kengaytirishni asosiy maqsadimiz etib belgiladik.
Over 2,000 foreign guests from 93 countries have arrived to participate in the forum.
Energy sector is a very important industry and sector to watch out in Uzbekistan.
AIB's annual meeting in Samarkand.
Bu nufuzli anjuman uchun aynan O'zbekiston tanlanganini biz o'zaro hurmat va ishonchga asoslangan hamkorligimizning yuksak namunasi deb bilamiz.
The main theme of the summit was building sustainable infrastructure for all.
Sizlarni 4-chi Butunjahon kreativ iqtisodiyot konferensiyasida ko'rganimizdan bag'oyat xursandmiz.
Key speakers included AIB President and Chair of the Board of Directors, along with senior management leading representatives from various multilateral development banks. This year the conference gathered over 2,000 leaders and professionals from creative industries worldwide.
The economy are very important.
Today Uzbekistan has 14,000 companies operating in the creative industry, with nearly 100,000 young people working in these fields.
Silk Road makes me feel really happy.
Значительный вклад в развитие сотрудничества между Республикой Татарстан и Республикой Узбекистан орденом награжден президент Республики Узбекистан Шавкат Мирамонович Мирзиёев.
One of the highlights of the conference was the presentation of countries' updated national climate change plans under the Paris Agreement. One of the important documents signed at the event was the Declaration on Climate Change.
We live in the era of globalization.
O'zbekiston umumiy farovonlik va yashil taraqqiyot yo'lida ochiq muloqot va sheriklikka doim tayyor ekanini yana bir bor ta'kidlayman.
Greeting dear viewers and welcome back to Review Program. In 2024, Uzbekistan was a host to a number of high-scale events that put a significant impact on the country's policy, economy, international affairs and other important sectors. In turn, the country also put a significant impact and ended up with fruitful outcomes at events abroad. In this episode, we will reflect on some of these events and analyze Uzbekistan's role in this. In 2024, Uzbekistan hosted several global and high-scale events. The list of the main ones included 3rd Tashkent International Investment Forum, AIB's annual meeting in Samarkand, and 4th World Conference on Creative Economy. In turn, Uzbekistan was a participant at the following high-scale events: 16th Annual BRICS Summit held in Kazan, Russia, the 11th Summit of the Organization of Turkic States in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, and 29th United Nations Climate Change Conference held in Baku, Azerbaijan. Let's start our analysis with the 3rd Tashkent International Investment Forum that was held on 2nd and 3rd May. Over 2,000 foreign guests from 93 countries have arrived to participate in the forum, which clearly demonstrated the growing importance of the event. To compare, in 2022, more than 1,000 guests from 55 countries took part at this event, and this figure increased 2 times in 2023. In his speech, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev also noted that over the past 3 years, the forum has become an effective dialogue platform for expanding bilateral and multilateral cooperation, discussing the most pressing issues, developing advanced ideas and approaches.
Reforms are irreversible. Opportunities are unlimited.
Mazkur forum ikki va ko'p tomonlama hamkorlikni kengaytirish, eng dolzarb muammolarni muhokama qilish, ilg'or g'oya va yondashuvlarni ishlab chiqish uchun samarali muloqot maydoniga aylandi. Bundan 7 yil muqaddam biz uchun oson bo'lmagan, lekin katta marralarni ko'zlagan tizimli islohotlarni boshlagan edik. biz iqtisodiyotni erkinlashtirish, qulay investitsiya muhitini yaratish, tadbirkorlar uchun imkoniyatlarni har tomonlama kengaytirishni asosiy maqsadimiz etib belgiladik.
The event included more than 50 plenary sessions on such topics as Tashkent International Commercial Court, Why Invest in Uzbekistan, creation of Central Asia International Financial Center, investments in the development of the capital city, investing in green energy, and many others. Government representatives, heads of large companies, as well as high-level guests from international organizations visited to be part of the forum. A special agenda of the forum was the presentation of the potential of Uzbekistan, a country that continues to demonstrate stable growth against the backdrop of economic instability in the world, gradually turning into a real investment hub of Central Asia. Investors' interest was encouraged by the reforms underway and the comfortable conditions created for business, including solid benefits and preferences and guaranteed protection of investors' rights.
The most important factor is people. People is a very important factor in investment. The people are very good to deal with. There's very transparent layers of communication. There's strong trust. And most importantly, it's a very secure country. You don't see any security incidents compared to what's going on around the world at the moment. And you see a lot of countries, governmental institutions who are very, very excited to be investing in Uzbekistan. This brings other companies following government institutions to invest likewise. So every industry has its own charm and vice. From our area and from my expertise, I feel that the energy sector is a very important industry and sector to watch out in Uzbekistan, especially looking at this conference. Many panels and many sessions are related to energy, sustainable energy and green energy.
Participants also touched upon the fact that as Uzbekistan continues to open up its economy and explore the global marketplace, the investment potential of its regions remains enormous. Whether it is agriculture in the Fergana Valley, tourism in Samarkand and Bukhara, or manufacturing in Navoy and Jizakh, the opportunities for investors are huge in this country. The next large event was held in Samarkand on 25th and 26th September. 9th annual meeting of the Board of Governors of Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. The main theme of the summit was building sustainable infrastructure for all. The agenda included pressing issues in the global economy and finance, as well as strategic programs and plans for infrastructure development in Asia and other regions of the world. President Shavkat Mirziyoyev attended the inaugural session and engaged in several important discussions with the high-level guests.
For His Excellency Mr. Shavkat Mirziyoyev, President of the Republic of Uzbekistan.
Bu nufuzli anjuman uchun aynan O'zbekiston tanlanganini biz o'zaro hurmat va ishonchga asoslangan hamkorligimizning yuksak namunasi deb bilamiz. So'nggi yillarda yangi O'zbekiston muhim global va mintaqaviy masalalarni muhokama qilish, ularga samarali yechim topish uchun xalqaro muloqot maydoniga aylanib bormoqda.
The 2024 AIIB annual meeting was a critical platform for the bank to engage closely with stakeholders, including its 109 members, partner institutions, business leaders, civil society, and experts across sectors. The meeting featured more than 25 panel discussions over 2 days, focusing on innovations in infrastructure financing, climate resilience, sustainable development, and the digital transformation of infrastructure projects. Key speakers included AIIB President and Chair of the Board of Directors, along with senior management and leading representatives from various multilateral development banks. In one of the events of the global conference, Uzreport TV team had a chance to talk with AIIB President about the bank's plans to accelerate green transition in Uzbekistan.
My question is, what goals does the bank have for acceleration of green transition and how does it plan to do it?
By 2025, at least 50% of the financing would be for climate change. We achieved that 2 years ago. The financing for climate change mitigation adaptation now accounts for 68% of the total financing. So this is the concrete steps we take to improve the financing for climate change and to deal with the consequences of climate change.
In his closing remarks, AIIB President also touched upon the importance of further collaboration, stating that the progress we have seen so far is just the beginning. Central Asia has enormous potential, and through our cooperation, we will create new opportunities for growth, sustainability, and prosperity. From 2nd to 4th October, the capital hosted another large-scale event, 4th World Conference on Creative Economy. This year, the conference gathered over 2,000 leaders and professionals from creative industries worldwide to discuss the future of creative economy and the impact of emerging technologies. The main theme of the event was inclusive creativity, transforming reality. It focused on social and economic challenges related to technological advancements and the role of creative industries in shaping a sustainable future.
Sizlarni 4-chi Butunjahon kreativ iqtisodiyot konferensiyasida ko'rganimizdan bag'oyat xursandmiz.
We kindly invite Prime Minister of the Republic of Uzbekistan.
Fourth World Conference, a creative economy.
Creative sectors drive societal progress and brings people together to address global challenges.
But the art can also quite well stand on its own. And giving us
At the opening ceremony of the forum, Uzbekistan's Prime Minister Abdulla Aripov mentioned that today Uzbekistan has 14,000 companies operating in the creative industry, with nearly 100,000 young people working in these fields. In 5 years, these numbers are expected to increase, and the creative industry share of GDP is projected to reach 5%. To achieve this, it is necessary to create an environment and conditions for creators, strengthen intellectual property protection, and ensure freedom of creativity. Key events at the conference included a meeting of ministers on creative economy, an exhibition showcasing achievements in creative industries globally and in Uzbekistan, as well as numerous workshops, masterclasses and practical sessions.
Congratulations to the country. The indicators of how poverty has gone down, how education has gone up, how you are diversifying the economy are very important, and really very good news as an example for the world. So we will work together with Uzbekistan in the priorities that the government has put forward for trade, for investment, and for sustainable growth.
I would like to ask you, in Paris, how you use the creative economy?
Oh, we use it in a very different fields and a lot, because it's a soft power, very important all over the world. So in Paris, we used to that for many, many years. But here it's very important to show the history of the country. And it's to be here in the Silk Road, it makes me feel really happy.
Creative economy is so important to our islands, and especially to small island developing nations. It's really a way for us to transform our economies and have sustainable development. So we're excited to be here at the WCCE and to meet all the different colleagues from around the world.
Is it opening new jobs, many new jobs in your country, creative economy?
Absolutely, and so many people are involved in creative economy, from dance to music to theatre to literature to fashion to modeling. So, you know, it creates a lot of jobs, but especially for young people and for women. In the Caribbean and Latin America, it's the highest employer of young people and women. So it's a real force for transformation in our country, and that's why we think it's so important.
Overall, this conference and exhibitions serve as a platform not only for Uzbekistan, but also for other countries to share their experiences and views on creative economy and discuss its aspects from different angles.
It's with great pleasure that I invite the Director of the Agency for Youth Affairs of Uzbekistan.
I heard a very
Let's now discuss the summits that were held abroad with the participation of Uzbekistan. On 23rd-24th October, Russian city Kazan hosted the 16th annual BRICS summit. At the invitation of Russian President Vladimir Putin, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev also paid a working visit to Kazan. The head of state addressed the plenary session and held a number of bilateral meetings as part of the summit.
Значительный вклад в развитие сотрудничества между Республикой Татарстан и Республикой Узбекистан орденом Дуслак награжден президент Республики Узбекистан Шавкат Мирамонович Мирзиёев.
As part of his visit to Kazan, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev was also awarded the Dostlik Order, a state honor of Tatarstan. The prestigious award was presented to President by the head of Tatarstan, Rustam Minikhanov, during a formal ceremony. The award recognizes President's significant contribution to strengthening cooperation between Uzbekistan and Tatarstan, as well as fostering friendship and mutual understanding between the nations. In his speech, the head of state expressed gratitude to Rustam Minikhanov for the honor and highlighted the achievements in bilateral cooperation over recent years. He also extended best wishes to the people of Tatarstan. On November 5th, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev went to Kyrgyzstan on a working visit. As part of this, the head of state participated in the 11th summit of the Organization of Turkic States. During the event, opinions were exchanged on state and prospects of multifaceted cooperation within the organization. Current issues of practical partnership were also discussed. In his opening speech, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev stressed the need to introduce financial instruments, activate the Turkish Investment Fund, and establish the Turkish Development Bank. He also noted that involving international financial institutions and foreign investment companies in regionally significant projects is crucial. To support this, the proposal to organize the Turkish Investment Forum and hold its first meeting in Uzbekistan was highlighted. Attention was also drawn to the effective use of transport corridors, optimization of transit tariffs along the Middle Corridor, simplification of border crossing processes, and the creation of modern logistics systems with joint operators. An initiative was proposed to sign a multilateral agreement within the organization for transitioning to electronic document circulation in transportation and ensuring their mutual recognition. Additionally, in line with this year's summit theme, the development of a digital Turkish world concept was suggested. This concept aims to advance the economy of the future, facilitate the exchange of best practices and achievements in information technologies, and establish digital systems for innovation, infrastructure, science, and large data centers. In November, another important global event was held in Azerbaijan, the 29th session of the Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, under the slogan "In Solidarity for a Green World." One of the highlights of the conference was the presentation of countries' updated national climate change plans under the Paris Agreement, to be published by early 2025. Uzbekistan also actively participated in this significant event with its pavilion, Hovli.
Respublikasi Prezidenti Ilhom Aliyev janob oliylarining bugungi tarixiy konferensiyani go'zal Baku shahrida yuksak darajada tashkil etgani bilan samimiy tabriklayman. Iqlim muammolari aholimizning turmush sifatini oshirish va milliy taraqqiyot strategiyalarini ro'yobga chiqarishda yangi to'siqqa aylanmoqda. O'zbekiston global iqlim o'zgarishlari oqibatlarini birgalikda bartaraf etishda o'zining amaliy hissasini kengaytirish niyatida. O'zbekiston umumiy farovonlik va yashil taraqqiyot yo'lida ochiq muloqot va sheriklikka doim tayyor ekanini yana bir bor ta'kidlayman.
The Pavilion of Uzbekistan Sustainability Vision showed the traditional values and approach shaped by the country's unique culture, history and nature. The architectural concept of Uzbek Pavilion was based on the traditional Uzbek hovle, courtyard, which is the heart of every home, where every morning begins with care and warmth. This scent of family life, framed by greenery and vines, symbolizes the harmonious coexistence of human and nature. The pavilion was built using sustainable, traditional Uzbek materials and ancient techniques, time-tested and adapted to the country's climate. As part of the event, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev also visited Uzbek Pavilion and get acquainted with the conditions.
Where are you from? I'm from the United States and I'm representing the Global Youth Climate Challenges.
Did you have opportunity to walk around the pavilion of Uzbekistan?
Yes, it's gorgeous. We were treated to some of the delicacies and got to connect with some of the youth focal points, which is a key part of our mission here.
What did you enjoy the most so far?
I loved understanding a little bit more about the art and culture that this pavilion showcases, which I think is doing a phenomenal job, especially in comparison to a lot of the other country pavilions, in showing what Uzbekistan's culture and history is like.
Where are you from?
I'm from South Korea.
How are you enjoying the pavilion so far?
It's wonderful. First of all, I didn't even know it was such a big event because to be honest, I'm a photographer myself. I started to do climate change related projects since 2 years ago. So it's my first COP, and I was actually very surprised that there are so many people, so many countries. I'm very impressed.
Did you find any significant objects for your photographs?
In the venue, you mean, yeah? I'm actually there were quite a lot of interesting pavilions where they were wearing traditional costumes. And then, I was taking photos of people. I mostly take portraits, so I was taking photos of the people who came from their country with traditional clothing.
Particularly also, I see that you have some soil samples from the bottom of the sea. I don't know whether you're doing mining, deep sea mining, and that's something that we're also considering for the African continent as a solution that might be very useful. We also have a number of projects that we're working on that might require collaboration. So I was excited by it, I was drawn in, and I decided to come figure out what it is that is happening here.
Uzbekistan's delegation, led by the Minister of Ecology, Environmental Protection and Climate Change, Aziz Abduhakimov, held several important meetings with the representatives of international organizations. One of the important documents signed at the event was a declaration on climate change, glacier preservation and transboundary cooperation for Central and West Asia between the Ministers of Ecology from Azerbaijan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. To delve deeper into the significance of these milestones and their implications for Uzbekistan's future, we spoke with politician Farhod Talipov.
Indeed, we live in the era of globalization, and numerous big platforms are created in the international system. For instance, COP, climate format COP, the summit of COP this year, COP29, was in Baku, capital of Azerbaijan, and many others. I mean, Uzbekistan participated in most of them. Of course, primarily we have to mention the United Nations General Assembly, September this year. Uzbekistan always participate in GA, General Assemblies, not only just participate, but also initiate some ideas, advances some proposals in the United Nations. So Uzbekistan is relatively active in the UN, the only global and universal organization. COP is another format, as I say. This year was also interesting from the point of view of development of other formats in which Uzbekistan either actively participates as a member or is just, how to say, cooperating by in the status of partner or, you know, observer. For instance, there was a summit of Turkic states, Organization of Turkic States, OTS. For Uzbekistan and all Central Asian countries, OTS is also a promising institution, promising organization. This is also very important, which is by name a body, a structure which unites Turkic states. Uzbekistan is a Turkic state, together with 4 neighboring countries. Of course, in foreign policy of Uzbekistan, OTS occupies a very important place. In terms of macro approach, positive image of Uzbekistan, Uzbekistan participation in international organizations, these kind of things, yeah, it looks quite good, positive. Uzbekistan participate actively every time in different forums. Uzbekistan makes speeches and initiates some interesting proposals, be it environmental in the COP, be it infrastructure projects with China or trades with different other countries, struggle against terrorism, international security, many initiatives Uzbekistan advanced in different forums and different platforms. Yes, from this point of view, Uzbekistan did benefit, indeed, because international community, United Nations in particular, supported many initiatives of Uzbekistan. And in this sense, yes, Uzbekistan benefited from them, from this international support. But how we can project this benefit, let's say macro benefit of the country as such, project to the micro level, to civil society, to ordinary people level, is more complicated question, because again, despite this relatively successful behavior of Uzbekistan in the international arena, we see a lot of problems which are accumulated in the domestic policy. So that's why if even our foreign policy is successful, this success can be diminished by problems in the domestic policy. Because we should not separate domestic policy from foreign policy, especially from the viewpoint how the ordinary people react Okay? Imagine we can positively evaluate some certain actions in the international system of Uzbekistan, but at the same time people can be so resentful of some problems in their everyday life. Social problems, economic problems, hardships, shortage of, how to say, blackouts of electricity, gas, everything. And these resentments, by the way, and unfortunately, can compensate and diminish international success also. That's why we should not separate one from another. Both domestic and foreign policy should be correlated with each other, should be linked to each other. And when you evaluate how these international engagements benefit ordinary people, answer could be yes, maybe these international successes affect positively our life, but this success can be undermined by numerous domestic problems.
2024 was a year of remarkable achievements for Uzbekistan on the international stage. From hosting world-class events to actively participating in global summits, the nation has demonstrated its commitment to sustainable development, international cooperation, and progressive reforms. These events not only strengthened Uzbekistan's position globally, but also paved the way for new opportunities in various sectors. Here our analysis comes to an end. Thank you for watching, and don't miss review program in the coming new year.